Hello YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what we spent over the last 2 weeks as a family of 6. And I think it's important to know what other families are spending. We make about the average income, household income in this country, maybe a little bit higher or lower depending on different reports if you look at average or median, but we're about in the middle there. And so I just want to tell you what we're spending every couple weeks so that you can maybe gauge, hey, are you doing better or worse, or are you spending too much in some areas that maybe you thought that you were doing really well in, and maybe we're spending wrong in some areas. But we've been working on a budget for years now, and we always talk about the budget categories and kind of that you should have the categories, but nobody ever tells you how much to have in each category. So this is what I went over yesterday on my long walk through Dallas, but I went over, you know, this is a lot of the categories and how much we added to each one. And so hopefully you could see that as I went through it. But for groceries, we added $2,000 this month. We make a unique budget every month, and it's been $800 a month a lot of times. This month it was $2,000, as we have some big stock up items we want to do. We're also trying to save for half a cow. So who knows if we'll ever get there. I think it's $1,100 for that. We have to buy that plus just our regular groceries for the month. So that will be a while till we get that. We are at, we were at negative $701 starting that, so I think that's why it's good to never go in the negative. So we definitely want all these categories up because a lot of these are going to be negative. For a family budget, and what do we include in family? I'm including all the kids' classes, like we want to start taking them to karate soon. We include getting worms for the lizard at the pet shop. We include things like our subscriptions to like Hulu and YouTube and stuff like that that we need to pay monthly subscriptions for. We get our grass mowed at this house. Is one of the things that we spend money on. We choose to, you know, spend that time as a family and not out there mowing the grass. It's not something that I enjoy doing particularly, and they do a really good job here. So we spend money on that with the family budget. So it's just all kinds of things that are for the family, for the house. We could have a million different budgets in here, but we just decided to lump it all in to one called family. We also have the kids budget. Kids budget is going to be everything from their clothing to their date nights that they go on, you know, things like that. Maybe their presents for Christmas. And also we match. So if they bring us $60 that they save for a doll, American Girl doll, we'll bring the other $60, so they have $120 to spend for that. So if they save over, say, $30 for an item, we start to match it. But if it's just spend money, we don't match it. We just let them spend that. Then we have the car category. Oh, and the kids' budget, they were high this month. They had $407, and we added $200 to that this month. And the family budget, they had negative $376.88, and we added $500 to that. The car budget, which includes oil changes and gas and all things related to the car, not insurance, but all things related to the car, maintenance and things, that one was at negative $25.73, and we added $440. And then we have utilities, and utilities we added $400. It costs about $400 for water and power here at this house per month. That might go down a little in the winter because we're in Texas and the winter is cheaper for utilities here. For medical, we didn't add anything. We were at $319.17. We'll have to pad that over $300. With the Samaritan Ministries, we have to pay the first $300, so I'd like to keep that at $300 or more. But we've been very healthy, so we're very fortunate there. Insurance, we were at $602.06, or sorry, $62.06, and we didn't add anything to that this month. And then we have the donation budget. The donation budget was at it was at $700.54, and we added another $710. We haven't been called too much to give to any particular place, but we're feeling like we're going to be doing some very generous things for Christmas time, which we're excited about, for different places and different things in our community. So hopefully we'll have maybe up to $3,500 in donation money, and we could just really have an awesome Christmas. And then we have my personal budget. My personal budget was at $213.18, and we added $200 to that. And Amanda and my wife's is at was at $90.29, and we added $200 to her budget. Her stuff is mostly for, and for both of us, is for like clothes, and if we want to go out to eat and get something that's not really, you know, part of the family, we just are out there eating by ourselves or something like that. I use it for golf membership, and just anything we don't need to necessarily check in with the other person about. We used to do $100, we've done $20 before a month, but $200 right now is the highest I think we've ever done, just to make sure that we're feeling comfortable. Things are going pretty well right now for us financially, so we just, you know, I mean, it could be more. Some family like to get, you know, and that's also for like haircuts, and it's also for, you know, pedicures, manicures, stuff like that. So anything that you just want to spend that's like a personal expense. I like to go to Topgolf sometimes, so I'll have to use money for that. So that is all the budget items. We only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 items. So we've had a lot more in the past, and it's gotten really confusing. We also have just the like kids chores, make sure we have at least $100 in that account at all times. And then we also have the rent. Our rent is just $1,900 a month, so we have to put that aside. And then Samaritan Ministries, it's usually around $545 a month. This last month it was $608. We had a little extra money in utilities. We didn't spend the whole $400, so we just pulled the money over from that. So that is it for the budget for the month. And yeah, so September. So right now, if you look at all of our categories, and we just save these sheets of paper just for fun and just to kind of look at those later. But for the most part, we are looking pretty good. Next month we have to put a lot in. Well, we'll let next month worry about next month. But this month, we're only in the negative right now for the family budget, so we're just gonna keep it really close to home for the rest of the month and not do a lot of things that are out. I hear my work messages going off like crazy. But I will be doing that in just a sec. I'm on a short break right now. I would like to share with you the last 2 weeks here of what we spent. So I don't know if this is gonna be a full 2 weeks. Let's see, it starts on 8/21 and then it's 9/7. So yeah, it's just over 2 weeks actually. So let's start at the top. So Goodyear, we spent $59.54. That was to get our tires rotated and an oil change on my car. And we have to take the other car in soon. Then we got I went and did a community car wash for $20. It was like a local school that was doing a car wash. And that's a car expense. And then another car expense, we got gas in that car for $35.25. So that one day we spent almost $100 in car expenses. I spent $93.25 of my personal money at the Lake Waco Golf Club, where I did my golf dues, and I returned the glove. That's why it was a little cheaper than the $100 it usually is, plus tax. Work expense, $2.12 for Google. We have to have extra storage to manage all the files I have for some of my real estate files and photos, and so I paid $2.12 for that, and I write that off. We purchased a music subscription so that my wife's YouTube videos could have a cool background music. So that's $15 a month. We call that a write-off. It's a work expense for her channel. And then we paid our house cleaner $120 for the duplex cleaning of the Airbnb for the week. We paid $199.99 for our lawn to be mowed for the whole month. That was actually 5 mowings, and it's the most that they've ever done in a month because of the way the weekends fell. They always mow on Saturdays. That was a family expense. My wife had a $2.99 Apple charge. I think that's for storage for her stuff that's not a business expense. The kids spent $52.51 at Amazon. We had to buy them a couple of things that they had lost on the road trip. And that's out of the kids' budget. And then insurance, we paid for my wife's life insurance for the quarter for $36.40. Greta spent $2 of her own money at the zoo. She bought some candy. And went to the post office and spent $7.44 for a work expense. I believe we had to I don't remember exactly what that was for, but I'm sure I have the receipt for it somewhere. We went to Hat Creek, which is a burger joint for a date night for the kids. We only spent $12.99 because for dinner for everybody, because we had all these free tickets from the library for the kids being excellent readers or reading a bunch of books, which was awesome. So we just bought ice cream there and some food for my wife. That came out of the kids' budget because it was a date night, $12.99. And then we went to Raising Cane's the next day, and we spent $13.85 as a grocery budget. We again got some free tickets from the library for reading, and so all we did was just buy a little bit of extra food for my wife and I. We went to a secondhand store for kids' clothing and spent $83.89. That's on the kids' budget because it's their clothing. We went to Baylor University, and my son Theo spent $8 of his personal money on some mechanical pencils and things from the gift shop. And then we went to Walmart and spent $80.01 on a grocery pickup. And that was a grocery budget item. Then we went to Baylor, and still at Baylor, and I spent $27.16 on a new hat. It's right over there. That's my personal money. We went to, for Apple, I have some storage for work again, a different company this time, and that was 99 cents for the storage, so I count that as a work expense. The kids donated $7 in cash at Antioch Church, which is where we go to church. At Apple, we spent $10.81, I think that's Apple Music, and that comes out of our family budget. Patreon, again, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, but we just support some podcasts out there, so that's $2 a month. That comes out of work because they're educational for our work. The Texas Real Estate Commission, I had to pay $266.50 of work expense. And then the pharmacy, we spent, my wife needed something from the pharmacy, and we spent $60 on that. That came out of medical. Hopefully gonna get that reimbursed later. Possibly I'm saving the receipt for the Samaritan for the overall need that we have. At Dollar General, we bought some gifts for the Samaritan Ministries people. It was $14.08, so I consider that donation money. And then again, we needed some more medical stuff from the Dollar General. It was $9.40. My wife got some food delivered to the house. She was hungry and she didn't want to go get it with all the kids at home. And so she spent $18.85 and she tipped $10. So that was $18.85 out of hers and $10 out of donation money. We paid a lawnmower to mow the duplex for $35. The grass, that came out of a work expense. And then for Samaritan Ministries for our month, we actually had to pay $608.97. That is going way up from what it normally is. But somebody, I believe that they had a very serious illness and they needed extra money this month, and so it was kind of a sad case. So of course we sent it, and then someone else had a baby and they weren't able to share that need because they got pregnant before they joined. So we sent some money to them as a donation expense, $41. We pay for a service for our Airbnb that helps with pricing. That was $19.99. We paid 1 cent for Disney Plus. Half the month it comes out as $8 and some change, and then half the month it's 1 cent, so I don't really understand it. We got the Hulu, ESPN. Anyway, so 1 cent family money. Taxes, I even count the 1 cent. I've been counting everything. We have to pay the taxes on the Airbnb. That was $396.18. That goes to the city of Waco and also to the McLennan County. That's a total of 9% of the gross revenue, including the cleaning fees and everything, and minus the fees that Airbnb takes out. So it's the money that we got before we paid the cleaner. YouTube is $13.01 for our monthly YouTube subscription. That way we don't have to watch all the ads and we can just watch our content, and we can close our phone and it'll keep playing, so cool stuff like that. Theo spent his save money, $33 in cash, and then we used the kids' money to get it all the way, $31.94. He bought a new Nintendo Switch game, which was really fun for him. We do make them pay for half of it, but if it's like 50 cents, we don't count change if we're doing cash. So cash, you would have to go over and above, and then the card, we count exact change. So if, say you go to the store and you buy something that's 50 cents, but you spend a whole $1, we would count the $1. But if you spend just the 2 quarters, the 50 cents, and it's actual cash, the two quarters, not the dollar, we wouldn't even count it on our budget. We used to do all cash almost, and we just found it was really hard to count all the pennies all the time. And eventually it would all work itself out, because you would use the pennies next time, so you could over put on your budget and then it would be under. So it all works out anyway. We had to get our energy bill paid for this house. It was $165 for our rental, or the one that we're renting. And yeah, so $165. And then we paid our rent for $1,900. We paid for the internet here at the duplex. This is the internet for the duplex for $55.28. That's for our tenants that are staying there, so, or the short-term renters. Then we got insurance for renter's insurance for this house that we're living in. That's $18.67 a month, and we paid that. Of course we paid that. We pay it every month, and that's just in case that there's a fire or a flood or something that happens in the house, that the owner of this house, of course, has protection over the house, but all of our belongings inside, I think it's like $25,000, and I highly doubt we have $25,000 worth of stuff in here, but I don't know. If you add it all up, who knows? But if everything in this house got destroyed, that insurance would kick in, and that's why we paid 20 bucks a month. So almost 20 bucks a month. So we're paying, what, $240 a year to protect, I think it's probably $20,000 worth of stuff, including all the electronics and everything. So it's a pretty good investment, and I think it's required in a lot of states. It might be required here. Went and got gas for $45.68. Went to McDonald's for dinner one night and spent $40.36. Our McDonald's trips and fast food used to be $30-something, $30. They're up to $40 now. We're just eating more as a family. Kids are getting bigger. And so, yeah, that's a grocery expense. Paid our house cleaner $180. That was for that week. And then we went to a place called Slavics, which we had, last night we had our church group, and we bought a bunch of food for that. And it was really good food. We spent $42.68. Since we brought it to a church event and we're giving it to everybody there, we count it as a donation expense. We support a missionary family that's in Indonesia once a month with $150 that comes out automatically, and we consider that a donation expense. Then we bought Hulu for the month. That was $6.48. So I'm not crazy about Hulu, but there's some things on there that my wife really likes to watch, and it's not that big of an expense, but as you're cutting budgets down, that's like one of the first things that would probably go, because we don't really watch it that much. And then last 3 items were just some clothing items that my wife had wanted, and she got something from Target for $30.67, Old Navy for $64.94, and again, this all comes out of her personal money, and then Amazon for $103.86. So that's about the whole $200 she got for the month. She still has some left over from last month. But the total was $5,254.74 for just over 2 weeks. So if you watched my last one, we did $7,131 plus $5,200. So it's over $12,000 for a month of, just over a month of expenses. And it works because some of that is the business expense, and that's not really included in, but it is money that's leaving our household. So it's money that we could be better stewards of. So that's a lot of money to leave a house. Obviously that's gonna be, what, $12,000 a month. So that's what, 120,000 plus, I won't do math right here, $140,000 a year. $140,000 a year is a ton of money, but hopefully, not every month is this expensive. It seems like it has been, but it's some of those big expenses. I mean, just the rent and the other and the mortgage is quite a large number of that. So they come out in these big chunks. So when you're looking at things like cutting like Hulu, it's $548. Yeah, it's a big deal. But also, if we could refinance our mortgage here in the spring, which we're hoping to do, and save $300 a month there, then that takes out like whatever 6 years of Hulu. So anyway. I'm just going on and on. But that's kind of what we put in the budget for this month. That's what we spent in the last 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Stay to the end, I really appreciate it. And consider to subscribe, and consider to like, and leave a comment. If you spend something completely different in one of those categories, or you think I'm or just you have some advice on what to spend differently, or maybe we need to spend more on the kids or whatever, please let me know in the comments. Again, thanks for joining me.